What's up, guys? Welcome to Game Time. This is Super Zero here, and today I want to talk about a couple of things that have been on my mind lately. The resurrection of Asheron's Call 2 and the upcoming digital expansion for Star Wars The Old Republic. To start off, let's talk about AC2. Now, you'll have to forgive the video footage here, as I know the video footage doesn't exactly match the game, but for some reason Asheron's Call 2 really does not like any sort of video capture program, whether it be DxStory or Fraps. Whatever I try to use, it either crashes the game completely or makes the game run like complete crap. So here's some video footage of me going through the new holiday area in Lord of the Rings Online, and I hope it's similar enough considering both games actually use the same game engine. Now, last week I was in line at my local McDonald's when I decided to check MMORPG.com on my smartphone while I waited to be served. Upon loading up the page, I saw a thread titled Asheron's Call to Resurrection. Now, I had to do a double take, but I had in fact read that correctly. For the uninitiated, Asheron's Call 2 was, or is, one of the first second-generation MMORPGs, released by Turbine in 2002 as a sequel to the moderately popular Asheron's Call. Because of a hefty amount of technical bugs and because the game was such a radical departure from the original, AC2 didn't really reach the same level of success as its predecessor and was shut down in 2005. Now, despite being shut down so soon after release, AC2 was ahead of its time in many ways, such as being one of the first MMORPGs to utilize skill trees such as the ones you'll find in World of Warcraft, and it was fairly solo-centric and lacked a number of time sinks that older MMORPGs actually had. Most notably, the AC2 user interface seems to have been the inspiration for the UI found in World of Warcraft, a UI now standard across nearly all similar MMORPGs. Now, according to a thread on the AC1 forums, a single server for AC2 has been brought online for current AC1 subscribers. Now, I played AC2 back in the day. I actually played not even a full year before the game was shut down, so while I had some prior experience in AC2, I wouldn't have called myself a veteran. Still, I was curious and had been looking for a good MMO to play. Now, let me tell you, playing AC2 is a trip back in time. The game client has been virtually untouched since 2005, so it was rife with technical glitches that more than likely are caused by the vast number of users playing the game, with hardware AC2 was never designed to support. Also, nothing about the gameplay itself has been altered to stay competitive with current MMORPGs. Quests are few and far in between. The ones that exist may or may not be soloable, with no way to tell without trial and error. There are no shiny X's on the map marking your quest location. You actually have to read the quest text to locate your quest item. Now, while AC2 isn't quite as antiquated as EverQuest or Anarchy Online, playing AC2 again, especially in such an unaltered state, was a pleasant experience, although an experience I'm not sure has much long-term validity. You see, no one is quite sure what Turbine's intentions are for bringing back AC2. Are they going to promote the game and turn it free to play? Is it just a sandbox for AC1 subscribers? Even if it is free to play, will it get an overhaul to make it more competitive with modern MMOs? Will new content be developed? Seeing as the game doesn't have a website dedicated to it, and the only place to find up-to-date information is a subforum on the AC1 message board, it's difficult to say what the future holds for AC2. Obviously, I want Turbine to take AC2 free-to-play alongside DDO and Lord of the Rings. I also want to see the game retain a significant player base so that it can eventually become more popular than it was before, giving Turbine the ability to add significant amounts of content in order to make the game what it was meant to be. But at the same time, unlike many AC2 veterans, I believe AC2 will be a miserable failure if Turbine doesn't alter the game to bring it more in line with modern standards. Graphically, the game has held up well for being 10 years old, but animations are poor. Imagine the animations in Lord of the Rings Online without the animation quality, or with the animation quality slider set as low as it can go. I'm not sure how much effort will need to go into this, but the animations are a massive turnoff and need to be smoothed out. It needs UI improvements. Give players the ability to resize UI components and the ability to move around windows. Secondly, add more quests. AC2 is a more old-school MMO, but it's not old-school to the point where forced grouping is a means to circumvent an actual lack of content. The world is enormous, but the game will get boring if players are only wandering the landscape grinding mobs. Give players an overarching quest line not unlike the legacy quest found in post-NGE Star Wars Galaxies, but at certain level ranges give players branching paths, assuming, of course, that there is more than one location to level per level range. For the quests, make sure there's quest location indicators on the minimap, but make it an optional feature so as to not alienate subscribers who prefer to play without quest indicators. And lastly, what about in-game? Players will need more in-game content than sitting around Cragstone playing musical instruments. Outline a clear vision of what sort of content you want players to have at in-game, whether it be instance grinding, raiding, or PvP, and design your game accordingly. The last few times I've played, I've asked in general chat why I should play AC2 over new MMORPGs. I've yet to hear a legitimate answer to that question. Amongst plenty of responses such as, the community's great, playing music is fun, the world is big, or the PvP is the best, I haven't heard one thing about the gameplay itself that would make me stick around, and that's alarming. Even for a game like EverQuest, I can think of numerous reasons to play it over a newer MMORPG, such as massive amounts of content, emphasis on group play, and deep raid content at in-game. Some told me it was unfair to compare AC2 to a brand new MMORPG, but like it or not, a game that has been dead for 7 years will now be competing with brand new MMORPGs from 2012. While most older MMORPGs have added new content over the years, AC2 is, in essence, a game from 2002 that's only had about 3 years of development time. If there's no reason to play AC2 over those games that doesn't happen to be rooted in nostalgia, AC2 will fail again. What do you guys think about the resurrection of AC2? Do you feel Turbine needs to modernize the game or to leave the game as it exists now? Do you want AC2 to go free to play or remain as is? What type of content would you like to see added? Let me know in the comments below.